I'm delighted to welcome everyone on the occasion of uh, this public lecture on a very important topical subject, education that India needs. We know that the education system in India at every level has been undergoing many changes, and of course, there are many more changes that it might require because that is one of the biggest challenges that we face today, especially given the fact that India is one of the most youthful nations in the world with a median age of only about 28.5, which means that we have a lot of young people who are getting educated and who need to be employed, etc. So, in order to discuss and talk about what kind of education India really needs, we have one of the best persons, most suitable persons to speak on this subject, Professor J.S. Rajput, who has spent a lifetime on the subject of education, and he has, of course, occupied many distinguished positions related to this field. So I extend a very warm welcome to him, and I'm delighted that he not only accepted this invitation, he is an Atal Fellow with us right now. He accepted this invitation, but also thought of speaking on this topic and in this. Yeah. So, Professor Rajput is right now Atal Bihari Vajpayee Senior Fellow at PMML, and he is working here on the research topic, the millennial transition, education and the socio-cultural transformation. He is known for introducing a series of sweeping reforms in the education sector, as I said earlier. And among the distinguished positions that he has occupied, he was chairman, National Council for Teacher Education, NCTE, from 1994 to 1999, and the director of NCRT, 1999 and 2004, during which period also there were a lot of important changes and reforms in the education system, in the higher education system, and also at the secondary level, which he introduced. And he keeps writing in print media, columns, etc., which receive widespread attention and acclaim. He has written several books. One is Education of Muslims in India, which was published in 2015. Another is Dynamics of Indian Education, which was released in 2019. And for his various contributions to the field of education, he has been awarded Padma Shri in 2015 and various other awards like Jain Amos Comenius Medal of UNESCO, Maharshi Ved Vyas National Award, Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya Award, and Vidya Bhushan Award from Government of UP in 2019. So I warmly welcome him on this occasion, and of course I welcome all members of the audience. And without further delay now, I would like to request Professor Rajput to proceed with his lecture.
Thank you, Professor Mishra, colleagues and friends. Yes, indeed, it's a privilege to speak to all of you. I have been attending several lectures. और मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगा जब मैं यहाँ पर आता हूँ और लोगों को अपना काम हमारे सामने रखते देखता हूँ. मैं यहाँ जो लिख कर लाया था वो बदल जाता है जब मैं आता हूँ. अभी यहाँ मैं इनके साथ बैठा था तो मुझे दो चीज़ें याद आई. हिंदी ठीक है कि नहीं? हाँ? 1932 में एक किताब लिखी गई, रीमेकिंग ऑफ मैनकाइंड, बाय कार्ल वाशबर्न. इन्होंने पूछा गांधी जी से, व्हाट इज योर ग्रेटेस्ट कंसर्न, आपकी सबसे बड़ी चिंता क्या है? सो ही सेड, carelessness ऑफ द इंटेलेक्चुअल्स. लोग सोच रहे थे गरीबी की बात होगी, भूखमरी की बात होगी, अशिक्षा की बात होगी, लेकिन जवाब आया carelessness ऑफ द intellectuals. They are not performing what they should be performing for the nation. There was another instance when another missionary, Dr. Mote, I don't know whether pronunciation is correct or not because the spelling is M-O-T-E. He also asked before independence to Gandhi, what is the greatest challenge that independent India would face? And the answer was character formation. Now imagine, ये चिंता और चुनौती, चिंता थी carelessness, चुनौती थी character formation. क्या आज है या नहीं है? And are they not the challenges before education? This is the light in which I would be making some presentation. It will not be in the routine line, but these days every university, after the new National Education Policy NEP 2020, is opening a department, Indian Knowledge Systems. Everybody is talking of Indian Knowledge Systems very rightly. This is what we need to know. And we all have been told, we have learned over the years that ancient India was great. And we should be proud of it. We are proud of it. The manner in which we have understood, we have come to know, जैसे जैसे हम जानते जाते हैं, हम उसकी चीज़ों को समझते हैं, हमें लगता है बड़ा था. We are proud of the Gurukul system. We are proud of Nalanda, Takshila and Vikramshila. We are also proud of the spirituality that has dominated the Indian thought and philosophy. And we are also proud of the man-nature mutuality that has been established, that was established in ancient India. India is one country in which birds, trees, plants were given divinity. And now you can understand in the current idiom that this was probably because our ancestors, the learned ones, wanted us to keep the symbiotic relationship between nature, look after it. We were destined to look after it because we have a mind, we can think. We were supposed to do it. We forgot to do it. The point is, yes, we were much ahead than other civilizations in wisdom, thought, philosophy, and things like that, spirituality. But somewhere we are missing something. Otherwise, all these invasions, plundering of our resources, subjugation, humiliation, destruction of the most enlightened, flourishing, and vibrant culture would not have happened. This has happened. And so there is a quotation. All of us know about this. I will not talk much about it. But there is one point which I think is a new one, which I discovered. I didn't know it earlier. The number 2, Yuval Noah Harari, 21 Lessons for 21st Century. This is a book which has been internationally studied and is being appreciated at present. He says, what is the basic source of crisis that every human being is facing, every nation is facing, and why are they facing? Basic source of crisis, according to Harari, is every civilization, culture and tradition of knowledge quest has an inherent perception of being primary contributors to the global knowledge and civilization repertory. मैंने ही मैथमेटिक्स को ढूंढा है, मेरी सभ्यता ने ढूंढा है, मेरी सिविलाइजेशन ने ही सबसे पहले गणित की और मैंने ही मनुष्य को आध्यात्मिकता सिखाई. हर इस सिविलाइजेशन को ये हक है और इसको जो स्वीकार कर लेगा वो सिविलाइजेशन आगे बढ़ सकता है, ये मानकर चलना चाहिए. दिस वर्थ रीडिंग. मतलब Shashi Tharoor has quoted about the destruction that the British did it, and this I will read. The British conquest of India was the invasion and destruction of a high civilization by a trading company. Utterly without scruple of principles, careless of art and greedy of grain, overrunning with fire and sword, a country temporarily disordered and helpless. This is the point. Why did we become disordered and helpless? This is a challenge today. We should find out why were we disordered and helpless. They did bribing, murdering, annexing, stealing, and beginning that career illegal plunder which has now not gone as this. There are a lot of books, material in which India's contributions have been appreciated in science, technology, mathematics, and every area practically. One of them I have brought here. What science had discovered with the help of cunning instruments, ancient sages discovered many thousand years ago with the help of concentrated thought alone. Vivekananda has said, which I will refer later on, concentration. But in India, you have your problems. You cannot talk of yoga or concentration and receive a uniform response. That is an issue before us. While writing this, Paul Brinton also said, this does not mean that scientific research does not need modern instruments and modern infrastructure. We need at that modern science has produced so far. But over and above, we need a holistic worldview that encompasses science, ethics, spiritual philosophy. Could any policy formulation in the sector of human activity and endeavor neglect this compression of global human progress, growth and development? Now you see the issue that is before the education system and those who make the policies is Indian knowledge system we are proud of, very nice. But it has to be presented in the idiom of the day, language of the day, which people of today understand. You cannot go on repeating it in the same manner as we did earlier. And when we were much ahead in thought, philosophy, spirituality and things like that, something was being neglected. And was being neglected? We were not moving ahead because of our own approach to life in making weapons and other things. And that is what the plundering and other things will become possible in the British time. My point is, if we had worked on skills also and moved ahead, things might have been different. And why this was very important? You know, a book which I have quoted the reference, John W. Gardner in the last. I liked his interpretation very much. John W. Gardner was a thinker and also a politician in the United States. And the book came in early 1961. This is something excellent guideline for the policy formulation education. An excellent plumber is infinitely more admirable than an incompetent philosopher. This indicates the approach of the society, how it should change. And if that changes, whatever in the constitution we have given for equality, समता समानता की जो बातें हैं वो इसमें आती हैं. An excellent plumber is infinitely more admirable than an incompetent philosopher. The society which scorns excellence in plumbing, because plumbing is a humble activity and tolerates sordidness in philosophy, because it is an exalted activity, will have neither good plumbing nor good philosophy, neither its pipes nor its theories will hold water. This is what your policy says. This is what it emphasizes. The challenge is, how shall we achieve it? This is an extract from a book which has not been read by many people, Dick Tracy, The Ancient Roots of Modern Sciences. आप इसे पढ़ लीजिए. A group of intellectuals sat in Washington and they said how civilizations have been discriminated against. What I have mentioned about Harari, who said that everybody wants his own civilization to be treated as number one. These people found out how injustice is being done. Now, in its January 14, 2000 issue on the occasion of the beginning of third millennium, Science magazine published a timeline, Pathways of Discovery, and that detailed 96 of most important scientific achievements in recorded history. Now, this is the most important point. Of those 96 achievements, only 2 were attributed to non-white, non-Western scientists. This is the injustice part. And believe me, this has not been written by any political group or any... no Indian is involved with this. इसको मैं इतना ही करूँगा क्योंकि टाइम का कांस्टेंट मुझको रखना पड़ेगा. If you go and study the developments of the second half of this 20th century, you cannot ignore a couple of things in India. We were a partitioned nation. Partition had its own problems. We have earlier other things also: poverty, illiteracy, hunger, ill health, lack of resources. And in all these tough conditions, our forefathers, our constitution makers knew the importance of education. How could they think of providing free and compulsory education to all the children till they attain 14 years of age? It is not 6 to 14, it is till they attain 14 years of age. I think this is one of the most bold directives that one given in the Constitution. And this is also significant because I have tried to study and find out the freedom struggles of several countries in Asia and Africa, how much emphasis they did give on education. And I find the maximum emphasis on education was given before independence only by the freedom fighters of India, nowhere else. People thought we'll look after our education afterwards. But Gandhi was working, experimenting and doing things on that. This is one point that distinguishes our freedom struggle and which is normally not mentioned in many places and discussions. You see, there are so many achievements in education in spite of all the deficiencies that we had, which must be appreciated and mentioned. And most important ones are the education policies of 68, 86, 92 and this 2020. 68 brought out a structure. Earlier it was 11 years in some state, 12 years in some state schooling like this, 7 and 5, 8 and 4 like this. So Kothari Commission did this wonderful thing. They focused on science. Those were the days when in the schools in the 50s and 60s you were writing essays. This is the age of science. Then it became the age of science and technology. Now it is the age of AI and GPT. So this is how things change. 86-92 policy had the indication that the future belongs to computers, internet and these things. And I had the privilege of being associated with the 92 policy formulation. And I mention a personal point because when the policy was being revised, this 86 was being revised in 92, because the government had changed, so a revision had become necessary. And I was looking after some areas in which non-formal education, teacher education. So I told my secretary that there is no point in changing whatever has been written. Changing policy doesn't matter, it becomes how you implement it. And you will find that 86 and 92, there is not a word of change in non-formal education and teacher education. Because what matters is how are you implementing and who is implementing. I will also mention that I was looking after a scheme, Operational Blackboard, and I was very proud of it. I thought all the primary schools will change. We are giving money to every primary school, everywhere. We gave from the Government of India. But after 3 years, most of the time of the Joint Secretary was being spent on finding out inquiry committees, appointing inquiry committees and reading their reports. Things happen. But coming to the positive side, the institutions like Indian Institute of Sciences, Tata Institute of Fundamental Research, the BARC, ISRO, Tumba, DRDO, NPR, these are the greatest contributions that the leadership of those years gave to this country. And this must be acknowledged, and this will be acknowledged in the history, because when the NASA, National Aeronautics and Space Agency, some of the young persons from, mostly from South India, worked there, people became attentive to Indian young persons. Yes, they are talented, and this talent hunt became from India. Later on, Silicon Valley, Indians have almost taken over. And these institutions indicate that if your education system could reach a larger number of students, no other country would be able to match the cognitive capital of India. Silicon Valley and NASA are indications of that. But unfortunately, my personal assessment is that only 30% of the schools are at the desired level, functioning at the desired level. If this can be enhanced to 60%, our cognitive capital will enhance manifold. That should be the objective. Institutions are the pillars, but this establishment of institutions later on got diluted. Now you see, you have IIMs, you have Indian Institute of Sciences, you have this National Institute of Teachers Training and Research, several ones. But they suffer on faculty appointments, so many other deficiencies. And therefore, whenever expansion takes place, you have to take extra precautions to ensure that quality is not diluted. This remains the challenge so far as institutions are concerned. This is a very interesting quote for you. There was a book, unfortunately, the book by Thomas Friedman. He is a famous journalist, Thomas Friedman. The book is World is Flat. His idea was now everybody has a chance, equal chance. Later on he wrote another book because the first book was criticized, The World is Not Flat. There he has mentioned this. वो हिंदुस्तान आया, बेंगलोर में दिल्ली के एक दफ्तर में गया और उसने चारों तरफ निगाह डाली और देखा क्या मैं अमेरिका में आ गया हूँ, क्योंकि वही सब केंटकी फ्राइड चिकन, बैंक ऑफ अमेरिका, एवरीवेयर. और जो सबसे बड़ी बात उसने लिखी है, I encountered in the real India shook my faith in the nation. Columbus accidentally ran into America, but thought he had discovered a part of India. I actually found India and thought many of the people I met there were Americans. Who were there? They were very young persons, were Americans. Some had actually taken American names, and others were doing great imitations of American accents at call centers and American business techniques at software labs. This is a pointer for the policy makers, what is in store for them. Now I will mention about 4 people in my 1 year's study. I had studied them earlier also, but now I had sufficient time and also the pressure, because when you accept a fellowship, you have to keep in the mind that you have to submit something. And in this study I found that while there are several other names, I selected only 4. And I found that there can be no better alternative than to keep on thinking on what they had proposed. It has all the essence of whatever the ancient Indian knowledge system has given to us. It also has all the futuristic indications in it. And that is the strength of what I found in those 4 philosophers of Indian education. They may have worked in other areas also, but they really understood India, and this is what they have given to us. This is a very famous quotation. Many of us have seen this, but this is, I did not read it. If anyone dreams of exclusive survival of his own religion, destruction of others, I pity him for the bottom of my heart and point out to him that upon the banner of every religion will soon be written, in spite of resistance, help and not fight. Assimilation and not destruction. Harmony and peace and not domination. We say this, but if you read this a couple of times, you will find that this gives an idea how the universality of humanity is possible. हम कहते तो हैं कि सब धर्म बराबर है, सब पंथ बराबर हैं, लेकिन हम अंदर से नहीं मानते, व्यवहारिकता में नहीं मानते। अगर वो हम मान लें, बहुत से लोग मानते हैं। मैं अपने गांव में जब जाता था, when I was 6 years old, the illiterate person, 80 years person who used to be the head of the whole clan, when he was passed before a mosque, he would say like this. क्यों? क्योंकि ये ट्रेडिशन था, ये कल्चर था, कल्चर ऑफ क्वेश्चन। We became a victim of political aspirations. इस पर ज़्यादा नहीं कहेंगे। But the last sentence, education is manifestation of perfection already in man. This is a very famous sentence. When UNESCO appointed a commission on what would be the shape of education in the 21st century, the report had the title, Learning the Treasure Within. Learning the treasure within. And this treasure is how much? Perfection. Immense. There is no limit to learning. The Club of Rome, there is a report of Club of Rome, came in 1989 or so, which had the same title, No Limit to Learning. And we all know this part. So this philosophy of Vivekananda of manifestation of perfection already in man is acceptable everywhere and can be a great indicator for us in so many other areas. The other philosopher about whom I studied, and I studied in some detail, it's a very interesting thing. When I was the chairman of NCTE, I started reading Sri Aurobindo, and I found it very difficult to. मैं नहीं समझ पा रहा था, and I had no hesitation admitting it. So I met some people who had studied, and this क्या नाम था, Mr. Das. I met one very important person, Mr. Das, who was a scholar on पूरा नाम मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है. And I said, why don't you write a book for me? A book for teachers of high school who could understand Sri Aurobindo. He said, ये तो मैंने किया नहीं, ये तो बहुत मुश्किल है. I said, most of our primary teachers, आप मान लीजिए को 9th फेल हैं, क्योंकि उन्हें पढ़ने को मिलता नहीं बाद में. No disrespect was meant. But he attempted the book. And the book, there are 3 sentences which I keep on repeating. Sri Aurobindo gave 3 principles of education. First, which all of us know, हम B.Ed में पढ़ाते भी हैं, from near to far, for whatever the child knows, move ahead, add it. The second is, mind must be consulted in its development. Know the child, try to understand. Is he receiving? What are his interests? Knowing the child is a very vast field, and experts here know about this. So the mind must be consulted. You cannot, what does it mean is, in the same class, you teach one subject and expect everybody to receive it at the same level, internalize it at the same level. This is impossible. This ignores the individuality of the person. And that is one distinguishing feature of the human race. How can any education system presume that everybody will do the same thing, everybody will get 99%? So this was the second principle. And the third principle is the most important one. Nothing can be taught. This is something very interesting. Everything can be learnt. Nothing can be taught. When Vivekananda says perfection already in man, the perfection has to be discovered. Right? You can assist in discovering, but you cannot force anything. Unless until the child also comes with you and you get into partnership. And there is why, if you go through some of the books on the pedagogy, they will say teacher is a helper, teacher is this, teacher is this, teacher is that. But the basic point is that if learning is to take place, the teacher must know, I am only assisting him to discover his own potential. Now, if this happens, imagine the type of self-confidence that the child will receive. कितना उसको अच्छा लगेगा कि मैंने सोचा है. And this thing, now, Vivekananda gets related to Sri Aurobindo. Now, both of them now come to Tagore. Tagore, I might have mentioned here someday. This is a very famous quotation. Because for all of a sudden, I found my world vanishing from around me, giving place to a wooden benches, straight walls, staring at me with blank slate of the blind. ये थोड़ा फॉर्चुनेट थे कि कमरा था. बहुत से तो ऐसे होंगे जो कमरे में भी नहीं गए. But anyway, the idea is, his schooling days were very tough, very fearsome. और इन्होंने एक जगह लिखा है कि whenever I saw that teacher, it looked to me Cain personified. वो मुझे बेत के रूप में दिखाई. बेत होता ना, Cain personified. And just see, the teacher-taught relationship. A young child sees a teacher, and he appears to be Cain personified. But there was something special in him. He discovered himself and he created an alternative. This alternative that he created, we all appreciate that. But what I have not mentioned here is the book on Sri Aurobindo was written by Sri Manoj Das. The author is Manoj Das. In one of the places, Gurudev has written that there are two boons which every child gets from divinity. हर बच्चे को दो वरदान ईश्वर से या प्रकृति से मिलते हैं. पहला पावर ऑफ आइडियाज, दूसरा पावर ऑफ इमेजिनेशन. और उन्होंने कहा कि हमारा सिस्टम ऐसा है, और ये बहुत सोच के समझने की बात है. Our system tries its best, tries its utmost to impede both of these. Our system impedes power of ideas, power of imagination. Whenever I explain this to audiences, I mention two other terms because that helps in understanding Tagore. That is curiosity and creativity. So a child comes with ideas, imagination, curiosity and creativity. अब आप सोचिए अगर ये चारों आप नर्चर करते जाएं तो आपको बच्चे को कितना कुछ मिल जाएगा. पर्सनालिटी डेवलपमेंट के अंदर से देखिए, हिज वर्ल्ड विल एक्सपेंड लाइक एनीथिंग, हिज होराइजन्स विल एक्सपेंड इफ दैट कैन बी डन. बट यही पुस्तक पढ़नी है. When my granddaughter showed me a copy and says, teacher has not accepted the answer, I said, क्यों? क्या हुआ? ये तो सही लिखा है. And I was the director of NCERT. She said, मैडम ने कहा है जो NCERT में लिखा वही लिखो. Use the same terminology which has been written in the NCERT books. That is the ideas, imagination, curiosity and creativity. Gandhi, all of us know. Gandhi said, to bring the best out of head, hand and heart, and his takli other things, people laugh at it. But now every policy, the 2020 policy is skills, skills, skills. There is no other way out than going in for skills. Unless until this country adopts, accepts that skill orientation is necessary, we should certainly again go back to situations that would be undesirable. But here I would like to digress a bit. अभी तो मेरे पास 10 minutes और है. I would like to digress slightly. You know, when Gandhi was alighting from his ship in Africa, Dada Abdullah had come to receive him. And while he was coming, he was being brushed aside by the people. And Dada Abdullah used to accept it. Gandhi noted that the people are insulting him. And why is he accepting? Why is he not protesting? This is one instance. The other was Peter Marisburg, when Gandhi was thrown out of the compartment, and he sat there on the platform. There's a story known to everyone. And he thought, if I make a complaint, and in unlikely situation that the man gets some punishment, the matter will be over. So what? He expanded his horizons. He thought, I will not go to the individual, I will go to the practice. That millions and millions have suffered, I will fight against it. अपना क्षितिज बड़ा करने के बाद जो यंग आदमी आगे बढ़ता है, दुनिया उसके आगे झुक जाती है. That is what he did. That is what education is, the ideas. How the ideas come. Every child has ideas. मैं एक बार बीएड के क्लास में बैठा था, यंग ट्रेनी पढ़ा रहा था, तो उसने क्या किया, टेनिस की बॉल लेके डाली. क्या होगा? ऊपर आएगी. थोड़ा और ऊपर से डाली, थोड़ा और ऊपर आई. मैं तो प्रिंसिपल था, मैं तो पीछे ऐसे ही गया हुआ था. तो इस बच्चे ने पूछा, उसको सवाल बनाया, बताओ ये ऊपर क्यों जा रही? तो एक उठ के खड़ा होता है, आई थिंक इट वाज क्लास 7 था 9. सर, आपने कहा था हर चीज एक दूसरे को खींचती है, जमीन अपनी तरफ खींचती है, अच्छा तो अपनी तरफ खींच रही है, इसलिए ऊपर चली जाती. न चली. He couldn't give an answer. I found out this happened in a school which is part of the Regional Institute of Education in CRT. This is an experimental CBSE school. So I called about the child. They said very mischievous. The headmaster told them very mischievous, बहुत परेशान करते हैं. तो मैंने अपने हाथ से एक एजुकेशन फैकल्टी वाले को कहा कि जरा देखो भाई. देखा. I think 6-7 years ago, when I went there, he met me. He was the IS officer, cultural secretary to the government of Madhya Pradesh. So I reminded him, how do you understand the child? ये अभी थोड़ा आगे इस पर मैं और कहूँगा आपको. Why I am mentioning these are that in education, our teachers have to have a broader horizon. जो अपना होराइजन बढ़ा नहीं सकता, वो दूसरे को कैसे मदद करेगा? अगर टीचर पढ़ता नहीं है तो कैसे करेगा? लेकिन अभी हम टीचर्स पे बात नहीं कर. There was one book, reading a book that changed Gandhi, and that was unto this last, written by John Ruskin. इवनिंग में उनको दी गई थी, रात में गाड़ी में चलते पढ़ी, अन्य दुनिया बदल गई उनकी. दैट गुड ऑफ इंडिविजुअल इज कंटेंट इज गुड ऑफ ऑल. दैट लायर्स वर्क, सबका काम. जो मैंने अभी जॉन गॉर्डन का कोटेशन दिया था कि प्लम्बर एंड फिलोसोफर, वो यहाँ पर भी है. सेम थिंग इज हियर आल्सो. लाइफ ऑफ ए लेबर, आई थिंक इज द सेम थिंग. दिस इज गांधीयन एजुकेशन. एक्सपेंड योर होराइजन्स एंड you must help the child to grow in every dimension, head, hand and heart. There is no other way out. ठीक है वो. अच्छा. I have put it like this. I am using this term for the first time. This is the wet G of Indian education. इन चार का अध्ययन कर लीजिए. विवेकानंद, अरविंदो, टैगोर एंड गांधी. ठीक है, आपको रास्ता मिल जाएगा. लेकिन रास्ता कब मिलेगा? इसको थोड़ा यू हैव टू नर्चर एंड नरिश. व्हेन गांधी सेज दैट द चैलेंज इज कैरेक्टर फॉर्मेशन. कैरेक्टर फॉर्मेशन डज नॉट टेक प्लेस एनीवेयर एल्स बट इन द प्राइमरी स्कूल्स ऑफ द कंट्री. आपने कोटेशन पढ़ा होगा, वार्स आर वन ऑन द प्ले फील्ड्स ऑफ एटन एंड हेरो. हम लोगों ने बचपन में पढ़ा था कि युद्ध कैसे जीते जाते हैं. प्ले फील्ड्स ऑफ एटन एंड हेरो, द टू ग्रेट स्कूल्स, फेमस स्कूल्स. उसी तरह नरिश एंड नर्चर द चाइल्ड इन द प्रॉपर फॉर्मेट इन फुलसम considerations. And what are needed? Ideas and imagination. Every child innovates. Somebody has to inspire. I could have written that also. Curiosity, creativity and commitment. ये 6 चीजें हैं जो किसी भी एजुकेशन सिस्टम में आनी चाहिए, हर जगह दिखाई देनी चाहिए. This could determine the future of Indian education and hence India. This is a personal episode. When I was in the ministry, the secretary and all these joint secretaries we were 6 joint secretaries and 1 secretary, so we went to planning commission. And planning commission used to allot budget, so we have to be ready. When we went there, the gentleman who was to interact with us, very senior man, he said, भाई देखो और तो बात होनी, लेकिन मुझे पहले एक बात करनी. मैं सारे उन टीचर्स को निकालना चाहता हूँ who are dead good for nothing. They are spoiling the system, they must be terminated. So my secretary, Mr. Anil Bodia, the secretary, very intelligent person, very much devoted to education. He said, sir, we have a professor amongst us. He will respond. I was supposed to respond. And I don't know how the answer came. I said, dead wood cannot replace dead wood. I said, no. Huh? Kya? I said, you have to first clean the system. How can you blame only teachers? That day we discussed only this point, and the agenda was postponed for the next day. Only this much I had to say. Anyway. In the NCT, we had discussed the 3 points: competence, commitment, and performance. This is not applicable only to teachers, but in any profession. Any profession, a professional is one who is always conscious of competence, commitment, and performance. Focus on those who implement. If Indian education system has to improve, it has to focus on those who implement. You cannot keep 1.50 lakh posts of school teachers vacant and expect that quality will be enhanced. Supreme Court judgment of September 12, 2002. I had mentioned about the various civilizations, religions. In the year 2000, NCERT has proposed that basics of all religions should be taught to children. They should know the commonalities and learn to respect differences wherever these exist. This is a very important sentence. This matter went to Supreme Court. And Supreme Court gave a judgment that for social cohesion and religious amity, for the integrity of India, this recommendation is in order. It is not against secularism. It should be done. So I personally feel, I am still convinced, in 20 years after I left NCERT, that this is the way out for India. Indian education must accept that religions and different religions are a reality. Their basics must be known to the children. First they know the commonalities. After so many commonalities are there. And then they should also respect differences. Differences exist only in practices. For example, funeral, there are differences. So you appreciate that. They must know the commonalities and learn to respect differences. This will give rise to mutual respect as they grow up, and this will also strengthen their characters and acceptance of diversity. These are some small points, not much. Focus on internal misadvantages and commercialization, recruitment regularity, fourfold strategy. This I will take a minute to say. The entire education system, 70s, 80s, this was under discussion in 4 terms. Who to teach? Who to teach means everything about teacher. Everybody cannot be a teacher, right? Whom to teach? Know the child, right? What to teach? and how to teach. The pedagogy, the curriculum, the child and the teacher. These are the four basic elements, or everything is to be woven around this. That I have already said. You see, these are two things that Arnold Toynbee, the very famous quotation he had said, that if the future of the humanity depends upon the Indian thought, उन्होंने लिखा, the Emperor Ashoka's and Mahatma Gandhi's principles of non-violence, Ramakrishna's testimony to the harmony of religions. So simple thing, time होता तो मैं इसको explain करता, अब नहीं करूँगा. The global vision. This is in confronting many challenges that future holds in store. Humankind seen in education an indispensable asset in its attempts to attain the ideals of peace, freedom and social justice. There is no alternative to good education if humanity is to survive. Simple thing. I think this says everything. This Vidya Dadati Vinyam. मैं जब इसको बच्चों में बात करता हूँ तो they enjoy it. As you move from say class 12 to the graduation, have you become more polite or more arrogant? The reverse happens normally. But this says Vidya Dadati Vinyam. And eligibility comes from Vinayshilta. समाज में कार्य करने के लिए आपकी विनयशीलता मतलब समझ, दूसरे के प्रति रिस्पेक्ट जितनी बढ़ती उतनी ही आपकी पात्रता बढ़ती. पात्रता धनम एलिजिबिलिटी, तब आप धन कमाइए, लेकिन ये मानकर चलिए कि पश्चिम और पूरब की सभ्यताओं में यही अंतर है कि धन से सुख मिलता है. पश्चिम कहता है, पूर्व कहता है जी नहीं, रास्ते में एक अड़चन और है. धना धर्मम सद आचरण है, तब आप सुखी होंगे, अन्यथा आपके पास जितना भी धन हो आप नहीं होंगे. ये महादेवी वर्मा ने एक बार लिखा है कहीं पर, जो मैंने बहुत पहले पढ़ा था, कि हम इस 1000 साल की यात्रा में बहुत कुछ पीछे छोड़ आए, उसको याद कर लेना चाहिए, और जो उसमें से संकलित हो सकता है वो हम आगे के लिए ले लें. गांधी जी का जो एक वाक्य है कि मैं अपने घर के दरवाजे खिड़कियां खुली रखना चाहता हूं जिससे नए आइडियाज़ आते रहें, वो हमारे यहाँ पहले भी कहा, यानो भद्रा कृतवो यंतु विश्वता. हम अच्छे विचार कहीं से भी ले सकते हैं, हम बाहर की शिक्षा पद्धति को ले सकते हैं, लेकिन हम अपनी जड़ों से अलग नहीं हो सकते. और कुल मिलाकर के यहाँ उस ये जो लिखा है ना, हरदम तलाशे गैर में, इसमें जो मैंने बोला है इसमें कोई आलोचना करने की मेरी कोई इरादा नहीं. अक्सर हम सबको ये कहा जाता है कि हम किसी के बारे में अगर निगेटिव बात करनी हो तो वी कैन एंजॉय इट फॉर आवर्स, लेकिन अगर किसी के बारे में अच्छी बात करनी हो तो 2 मिनट 3 मिनट के बाद समाप्त हो जाती. तो वो कहता है कि हरदम तलाशे गैर में रहता है आदमी, डरता है, ये गलत छपा है, ये डरता है कहीं खुद से मुलाकात न हो जाए. चलिए, thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. And we all are delighted to hear you on this very pressing, critical subject actually for the present and future of the country. And there has been a lot of enthusiastic participation as well. So I thank all distinguished members of the audience for their presence and their enthusiastic participation, especially the young people, the students who have taken the trouble to come, because actually, you know, this is a subject that more than anyone else concerns them, because those of us who are older, not just the generation of Professor Rajput, but even people like me, more or less, you know, we have done whatever we could in terms of education. But for younger people, of course, this is very important. So I hope they feel they get some inspiration and some guidance also from this, because that is ultimately one of the purposes of having these kind of lectures on such subjects. So I once again thank Professor Rajput for his kind acceptance of our invitation to deliver a lecture on this subject, which of course is his lifelong passion, but his research here is on a slightly different subject, and I thank everybody for their presence. And let's have tea outside.